24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thanks very much for joining us. It's a Thursday, and some days are better because of the company you keep. Some days are better because of the day you had prior and expectation of what tomorrow will bring. But in the studio, whenever you're with Matt Brown, Matt, it can't be bad.
No, sir, yes, sir. Reporting for radio duty, sir. Sir, yes, sir.
All right. Matt Brown and Curtis Mason joins us, and we're going to invite you to be part of a discussion 2 p.m. Miss Ileann, Powery. Well, the gents will vacate because when you have a great person like that, we can't have riffraff around. But this kid.
I wonder if she might come with security herself. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the show for today. And if any plans tomorrow, well, let's get started. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Alrighty. Well, sometimes pay attention, as Matt Brown said. What, present, accounted for, and ready for duty?
No, I was doing my best. You know, we don't send our children to any formal, mandatory military training. So I just have to make it up as I go. Many countries do that. You know, they push the children into 1 year of military training, but we are in a first world country, so we didn't have to experience anything like that. So, nothing like the draft, nobody to tell us to do push-ups. But I was just trying to imitate what I think a soldier would say when they reported. So I was just trying to say, sir, yes, sir, reporting for duty, sir.
No, you watch too much Gumba Pie. But I think as I listen to you, it's recognized that, you know, in the UK now, the former Prime Minister was talking about a voluntary mandatory service. We've seen the European nations calling up theirs, following along some of the Nordic countries in their approach. That in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, only extent, as I see it, the discipline that comes from quote-unquote military training is great. But in a time when we should be looking to peace, again, the UK's military commander saying the UK should be ready for war in 3 years.
War is big business. You know? That's the money maker. So what is the point of having all of these weapons if you don't get to, go in and shoot them off every once in a while? It makes no sense. So you have to convince the people, hey, we need the weapons. And then every once in a while, you got to pow, pow, pow.
But I also believe that there is an advantage to the military thing. In that, if we compare, let's say, our generation with the current generation, there are some issues that are different in the sense that we would say that we were forced to be disciplined by our parents, right? Spare the rod, etc., etc. That doesn't happen nowadays. So having a society where it is mandatory that one learn basic discipline from early, even if it's not necessarily about war, but I think it's better for
basic training.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very, very good. Start a fire, how to cook outdoors, how to keep dry.
All right. So let me then ask, because this is important, and we'll coach it into something in a second, but I like this. So on the left, Matt Brown. On the right.
I'm wearing blue trunks. Curtis, what color are you going?
Camouflage.
He coming in his fatigues.
Yeah, he's here.
Wow. All right. So with that, we can see the advantages of military service, the discipline, the idea of maybe a sense of self-worth, a sense of teamwork, a sense of accomplishment, some great advantages. Let's turn the coin over.
Mm-hmm.
What are the disadvantages?
Disadvantages of the drafting.
Yeah.
Well, for me, from my side of the table, it's hard for me to see disadvantages in the sense that it will, whatever they would have been doing other than being there, what would it have been? School, but they wouldn't be drafted when they're in school.
Mm-hmm.
So what else would they have been doing? College.
Mm-hmm.
So they need college. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But what else?
Which some programs offer that as well. They do training.
Well,
you can get an education in IT.
So we understand
in the military. Okay. Yeah, no, don't follow him in. No.
So there's no downside there. So education is taken care of. The discipline is taken care of.
It would have to be the spending.
And they probably will be, at the end of it all, they may have a career in whatever it is that they were specializing in.
So no disadvantages to you.
Also, if in 3 years there's war, they'll be more prepared.
Well, that's the thing. If problems are inevitable, it is better to be prepared. There's a saying that says it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Is that a saying? Is that yours? It sounds good.
Pretty good. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the disadvantages, Mark?
It would just have to be the amount of expenditure. I mean, to buy weapons. Remember, this is about the industrial military complex. That's what I was trying to allude to. That this is huge checks that are written. And I was watching a TikTok the other day, and they were firing weapons from the ship, And this is obviously art because it's video editing, but they're running up a tally like if you were spending money at so every time the gun fires, you're just seeing the numbers, 25, 50, 75, and then they started to go into bigger weapons. When you see missiles and you're just going to the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. So it cost a pretty penny. And I'm sure there would be people that would say, why are you spending money on things to harm and kill our children instead of putting it into education, instead of putting it into healthcare? So there's other areas that you could probably spend the money on.
Yeah.
But that is an issue for whoever is writing the budget.
Okay, so after the break, we'll start that, we'll move it around. And two intellects, independent minds. Sometimes the best sparring, I think, in the world of today, the war might not just be a physical conflict using, conventional or nuclear weapons, but AI potential, right? So before we get there, let's go back to the pros and cons and the benefits and disadvantages, and maybe even end up talking about what we plan to, but who knows? All right, Curtis Mason, Matt Brown, Susan on one side. You know what? I'm going to facilitate. Ooh, Susan, can you do that publicly? Damn. Sorry. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit caymannational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention shoppers, the anniversary sale at Tomlinson Furniture is here and hotter than the summer sun. If you're looking for new furniture or bedding, Tomlinson Furniture in the Mattress Gallery has you covered. Everything in stock is on sale. Special orders are 10% off. Now till August 31st, save up to 50% on selected items. Spin the wheel with each purchase. Everyone is a winner while supplies last. And enter to win our Jumbo Serta Sheep mascot or a Jumbo Beauty Rest turtle. Don't miss our 49th anniversary sale on now till August 31st at Tomlinson Furniture. Affordable, dependable, quality.
The Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office remind all students traveling to and from school overseas to ensure their passports are valid for both travel and entry into their destination country. Passports should be renewed at least 10 weeks before departure, and any necessary student visas must be obtained. For passport services, contact the Passport and Corporate Services Office at 649-7678. For Ministry of Education scholarship inquiries, contact scholarships@gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education and the Passport and Corporate Services Office.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much, not only for your attention, but invite your active and engaged participation. It's through much discussion that we find, not just consensus, but meaningful input. So to Mark Brown, always a pleasure to chat with you, publicly or privately.
Oh yeah, and I feel the same way. But it's good to have conversations that stir the pot, and then maybe some of your listeners will have some gold nuggets to drop into our convo.
Right, and to Curtis Mason likewise, because Matt just said it all depends. I think when last, as we went into the break, depends who's writing the budget, right? Yeah. And that could be something. So part of what we're going to probably get to, I think, speaks to greater psyche. But since we started talking about this, it's not just the evolving geopolitical landscape. It's not just the presumed despots as presented by the Western media about threats to humanity and stability, but the notion that Western civilizations now have always imposed their will through their might, militarily and economically. And when you hear countries saying, hey, we got to be careful because of this one, we better be ready. Preparation is key. Ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. To be forearmed is to be forearmed. We live by many of these idioms. But is it idiotic? So again, I ask the cost. Human life, right? The opportunity cost, not just the financial cost of that money, but that money can go to education, healthcare, housing, all these other things, right? But the more you prepare for something, is it like Matt's point earlier? You've convinced the development and construction of this nuclear arsenal. Let's test it out. I mean,
Nuclear is the right word, nuclear. But with nuclear arsenal, you don't need arms. You don't need small arms and stuff like that. It's just a button. And that is, that's where the power is, the power brokers,
So let's make the joke, right? We watched the U.S. Presidential elections up until recently with the change. The joke is one guy, who was there before might be just a bit erratic. And so just for so he'll press to show his power. The next guy might go, oh, that's so pretty button. He presses it, right? But both detonate something that creates, a nuclear holocaust. Yep. Now, we joke and we jest about it in the stand-up comics. Have a good... Mr. Malik can see that weaving into you.
No, I just wanted to go back to one of the pros, which there's so many areas that could use extra cash, but nation building. How do you want your citizens to look, to act? The U.S. has one of obviously the greatest military in the world, but they have lost their brand in what a all-American male looks like, sounds like, with big business and fast food and the decline of their healthcare system. I mean, they are far away from the glory days of when you could be called in a draft. This is something that you can imagine. Imagine if all of our high schoolers were put through 1 year of military training, all of our boys that were not allowed to hang out on the corner, but instead were forced to do push-ups every day, and instead were fed healthy meals and pushed in a classroom that even though they might not be academically inclined, we're saying, hey, listen, you have to drive this truck from here to there. This is your mission. It's a breeding responsibility.
Mm-hmm. How do you want to respond to that, Curtis?
And I would be in support. I'm on the support side of it, in the sense that
is it across your heart, Playtex bar? Is offering
absolutely.
support? All right.
I do believe that this present generation is fragile.
Yeah,
very.
You can offend them with words.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Just thoughts alone cause them to fall
yes.
down. No more.
I think that the spine need to be rebuilt, in not just males. Generally speaking, because they're so fragile, and I believe that some little toughening up could help.
Okay, so with that in mind, right? Problem many would have heard what was shared and whether misunderstood, but certainly inferred that we're talking about speaking to some people, presumably male, who less than academically inclined initially. We got to put them through some training, right? Because that's what this is for.
Why presumably male?
I don't know. This is just what I'm saying. As people listening, right, may infer that. No, I didn't say that's what we say. So how about this? How about if we made the approach, one, all of our students from day one, all, no matter age, no matter, can you say it's gender these days? I say male and female, right? And no matter what their academic or other sort of interests may be or abilities that is demonstrated then and there. So they all getting the healthy meals, they all getting sun, getting exercise, they're building teamwork, they're learning the life skills and all these things. So all of them, as opposed to what we have done for the most part up until now. We pigeonhole certain children into certain areas and giving them life skills, they're at risk, right? Instead of everybody doing it. What if we did that?
All right. I think there are advantages to that. However, you mentioned regardless of age. All right. As far as the draft is concerned, it would have to be beyond a certain age or having attained a certain age.
But even before we get to that point.
Before that, okay. Would we call that military?
Okay.
Maybe not. But it would be a sort of quasi-military sort of approach where I believe that regardless of gender or whatever it is, it would work. In that, as I mentioned before, this might just contribute towards making the spine a little bit more solid.
Right. So in the Cayman context, we're going to do that. So everybody, the second part of the equation, we do it at sea. We don't follow any of the Caribbean or Western. This is a seafaring nation, right? You put everybody in the boat. They cannot leave the shore and return safely without everybody participating. One person punching a hole in the bottom of the boat, whether that's literally or figuratively, not only puts the risk how much higher of an unsafe journey, but certainly decreases the enjoyment. Simple fishing trip. The guy out of bickering, complaining all day long about whatever. You just want to throw him overboard, figuratively, right? Well, maybe literally too. So that teamwork.
Yes.
What if we did that? And the reason why I say that is that if you look at the early iterations of what we tried to do relative to discipline, from the government policies to the construction of buildings to the institution of programs, it was always about that child that never seemed to have been on the right path. But if we all of us were in this together, right, going through the same process, not, and I stress, not indoctrination, right, but assimilation, acclimation, inclusion. So you can run a mile in 5 minutes, the next guy takes 15, but you're all making it.
Who will bail the cat? Who will bail the cat?
What does that mean?
Meaning that.
You can't come talking MC. we don't follow that.
So, all right. So this is a fundamental, huge thing that could have disadvantages, but there will be so much to be put in place before this could be activated. would the parents agree to have their kids going out and about? Suppose they're seasick or so.
But you get over seasickness.
All right, but what about government legislation in terms of where does it start? The infrastructure that would have to be in place for this to be done. It's quite a thing.
Okay, so would parents agree that your child go and do, here's a nice terminology, skill at arms. We got the cadets and the regiment. Unless you understand what skill at arms mean you're putting a gun into the hand of somebody, right? So would parents agree that you got to give your child this thing that potentially, like that actor or whatever it was he did on that set, thought it was a, thing and killed somebody else, right?
Baldwin.
Whatever his name was, right? So why not put them where they actually can do something meaningful?
Well, we've lost our tradition of seafaring, and we had Iron Men and wooden ships, and it's sad, but I do not know one. I cannot name one seafarer that would be my peer or anybody in any generation close to me. I have no. I could not identify not one person who took up seafaring as a tradition. And the merchant ships travel every day. Everything is imported. These headphones, this desk, this table, this microphone, my
even
shirt,
the people,
these glass containers. Every single thing on this island is imported on a ship. So it's not that that careers suddenly declined or the industry was wiped out. Is that the men that saved their money and were financially responsible, or the women that they sent the money to were financially responsible, built this country up, and we are the second generation. So strong men make sometimes weak children, and weak children ruin economies, and ruin economies cause a reason to create strong men, and it goes in this whole system up and down. So, but yeah, I back to your thought about bringing some of those traditions into a mandatory program. I think it's a no-brainer. To what Curtis had said, yes, it's very dangerous. Extremely dangerous to go out onto the sea with an 18-year-old that's never been there for the first time. Somebody, there would be casualties, and there would be blame put on whoever implemented it.
Two things. We got to take a call. Is that any more dangerous than carrying them out into the wilderness in East End, North Side, somewhere about today? Right?
I would say so, yeah.
How so?
Well, the stakes are higher, obviously.
No wild animals in East End.
Very little
crocodile.
Predators. but the sea is unforgiving. The sea has no emotion, and it takes people away.
I hear you. But secondly, the North Sound, right? One of the probably safest, most beautiful bodies of water. Any body of water can be dangerous, right? But I would say sending a child into the wilderness somewhere about here is more dangerous than putting that child on a boat and take them out in the sound. Right? Now, granted, many of us prefer boats over planes. Some women are very comfortable and got to see legs from the womb, right? But yet, and the reason why I'm saying that is that we increasingly pigeonhole or label and, as a consequence, create this weakness in our society by saying that, at risk. We're all at risk, some more so than others, right? And I'll tie that into something quickly, but let's take this call. Alrighty, Curtis Mason, Matt Brown, Curtis Mason. Let's take the call. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Hi.
How are you doing there, man?
I recognize the voice, man. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I was just calling to say, I heard you guys talking about the kids and stuff being a little bit, I don't know if you want to use the word soft or spineless or whatever it is, right? But I think we have to understand where that came from, So, for instance, social media today is what caused this issue.
I was going there.
And the reason why I say that is because I think social media, Facebook, may started probably around 2004 and they're up. But social media caused this issue because before social media, Dwayne, if you were bullied or teased at school, right? When you left school, it was over, right?
Fight.
Okay, so when you left school, it was finished. Until you went back the next morning, probably got it again. So you had a break. All right, so on social media these days, these kids don't have a break, right? So I think it's left up kind of to the parents. It's destroying children because, number one, because the cost of living, there's more iPads and cell phones that raising kids today than parents. and they don't get a break from social media. And it's a dangerous thing when you're being teased or bullied and it don't stop. And not only that it don't stop, it's so much other people that can chime into that. So we have to look at where that came from and figure out where we are with the kids. And that's what I see, because after 2004 come out, it was tested basically when social media first came out, tested in a group, and then they perfected it, and this is what we end up with. Right? So social media isn't a horrible thing, but it's something that needs to be monitored and regulated, whether it be in the schools and everything else. Do I think that kids and stuff should be going to school with phones, telephones, and all? I don't think so. I think all that stuff should be banned in school. And that's my thought.
Okay.
Social media is like an irresistible force now. That there's nothing to stop it. And it's just evolving. With AI, as you had earlier mentioned, there's nothing to stop it. And so, to the caller's point, parenting is such a huge part of this. And the involvement, and parents aren't even allowed to be parents, or maybe don't have the infrastructure to be full-time parents anymore either.
Mm-hmm.
So they are allowing the tools that exist to assist in the upbringing, to compensate for their absence or not.
So when we come back from the break, there's a song you have done. We'll speak to that. And I would like to tie that into, sometimes in the church you hear the pastor says, we are of this world, but, we're not in this world, or we are in this world. Right? And people get it, some people don't. And I wonder sometimes that in a particular space, let's say Cayman, to what extent recognizing that there's a global village, understanding the influence that has on us, so akin to the social media on society, akin to where Cayman's influence is being impacted and whose influences and how. And how does that affect us now? And what does the future look like? The socio-demographic and all those things. Matt, maybe minds can unwind and intertwine. When we return, join us.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Hey, Mom and Dad. School is nearly back in session. Is your child ready for the school year? Stop by Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village and pick up all your child's stationery supplies. You won't need to break the bank to get your little one prepared for the school year. You have enough to worry about. Make back to school a breeze with Savannah Pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, or call 946-3336. Savannah Pharmacy supports your education in our small community. That's why the first 20 customers will receive a free fully stocked school bag. Savannah Pharmacy. We love our community.
Radio Cayman your #1 community station, would like to remind you that we are in the hurricane season, and in order to survive a hurricane, you need to be prepared. If officials' sources say a hurricane is imminent, please board up or shutter up windows in your home or place of business. Remember to use good lumber, as makeshift boarding may actually cause more damage. Also put strong bracing on outside doors so that they are not blown off or blown in.
This hurricane advice was brought to you by Radio Cayman, your caring community radio station.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Matt Brown for reaching out to me and saying, hey, Curtis has this song, and you shared it with me, and I listened to it. I love music. It's refreshing to be reminded that it's said, make a joyful noise. I'm joyful, and it probably would be considered noise if you heard me sing it in a song, but I enjoy it in the shower. And music, as we're told by the Shakespearean works, music be the food of love, play on.
Play
right?
on.
And then there are those who have that gifting. So thanks for sharing the song with us, Curtis. I want to ask you at the outset.
Sure.
This work, if that's how you would do it, this creative, that's your original. Tell us about it. How did it come about? Tell us. Share with us, please.
All right. So there was a competition within a particular group. And I decided to enter this competition.
Okay.
But I wanted something that would resonate with the listeners. I wanted something that was real. I wanted something that was funny. I wanted something that was patriotic and true. And so the lyrics just came into my mind, the lyrics of the chorus, run, iguana, run. Because we know the history of the green iguana and the bounty that is out. And as a matter of fact, at one stage, there was an amount of $7.5 million had been paid out towards the culling sometime in 2019. So
was it 13 million?
Well, maybe now. That's what it is. That was 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first line. It just kept rolling over in my head, running, wanna run. And I remember seeing the trucks going and the guys in the night with flashlight and they're looking over the tree to get the animals. And I said, okay, this could be funny because they're not really endangered, but they're endangered because, it's the blue iguana that's really endangered, but they're endangered because they're trying to catch them. And then I said, no, but it needs more. And at my backyard, I saw an agouti. And I mentioned this last time. Living at that house for 15 years, never seen an agouti. But there it was, hopping along. And I said, how in heaven's name did it get here? It must have been displaced from somewhere else. And what could have caused the displacement? Construction. And so I started to put these together now. Something is displacing this species, so they're also endangered. As a matter of fact, one line in the song says, they're building condos in the mangrove and iron shore. All right. But then that was not enough either. There had to be more. So I thought about the Cayman parrot, and I set the Cayman parrot as the adjudicator of the whole thing. And then the chickens. And as I said, you used to see them flocking around the cars in the morning traffic. You don't see it anymore. So the chickens, putting myself in the position of that roast time, like, I'm hungry. I need food. People used to feed me, they're not feed me anymore. So that's also endangered. But then my other half, my wife says to me, you could probably tie it in with Caymanians. My wife is a Caymanian. Tie it in with Caymanians as being thought of as being an endangered species. So play on it now in a satirical point of view of endangered species, but also in the current view of things as endangered species. And that is how I, after a few days, put all the lines together and came up with this.
The competition, that was locally. What can you tell us about the competition? I mean, I know you say it was, can you share about that?
Yeah, I won.
You won?
I won.
You won? Yeah, obviously. But I mean, I didn't.
Yeah,
so
it's okay.
You won. I don't know.
Yeah, it was among I'm a member of Cayman Islands Folk Singers.
Okay, folk singers.
Yes, right.
Okay.
And so we had a little thing going in our group saying, let's contribute.
So this was internal competition amongst the folk singers.
Yes,
so
it wasn't open to the public.
Wasn't a national thing. Okay,
no,
because I didn't know about it. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, cool.
So that's how it came.
So you guys had a competition.
And we had a live performance, requests and all that sort of thing.
And then amongst yourselves, you judge and like how. I don't want to be pedantic in it, but like how did the winner was selected?
All right, so there was a panel of judges, and there was a live performance, and based on the presentation and the diction, I suppose, and the grammar was out. We're going into the vernacular.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And so based on a set of pointers, the winner was chosen.
All right. And the reason why I ask sometimes is that when you say it's a competition, many times things transpire, and it's so good, but it's kept inside. Other times is well, Matthew.
I'm just so glad to hear that that there is an effort to create new folk songs, because when I think of traditional Caymanian music, I'm thinking about Miss Julia Hydes,
Dr. Radley,
Cardell Gone to Cuba, Muncie Boat and the Sound.
Yeah.
But we cannot sing the same handful of songs until eternity. At some point, you would need to embrace new material into and classify it as folk. So it's good to know that something is happening, and congratulations on your win.
Matt's point. See, this is where he's smart. So this is no. This was a folk song, or is it just a song? I
don't know if technically it could be called a folk song, but in a sense it could be, because there's some amount of folkiness to it.
Okay. But if so, it's an internal competition. What lead was it? I mean, because a bunch of people get together as a group and we decide let's have a competition amongst ourselves, and depending on what it is. So what was the impetus for having this competition amongst? Because it's just within the group, right? Mm-hmm. The members of the group deciding that they could do something. In terms of a song.
So to Matt's point, it was about posterity.
Okay.
Because we perform many songs, by the traditional people, but as performers, we are also in a position to contribute in terms of having something that we can perform in the group itself, something new, and also to carry on the tradition of performance and folk singing. That was the whole purpose of it.
Okay. No, I like the idea. See, people who are creative, whether they're writing, drawing, reading poetry, whatever. I mean, that's just amazing, and I respect that. Because to me, we all have gifts, and those are not the ones that I say I have, if I have any at all, right? Mm-hmm. So this body of work, this is original.
Original, from scratch.
Today's words, I guess this is your work. You have the, what's that called, Matt? Not the license, the...
Copyright.
When you own it. So this is your work.
Yeah.
This is not the work of folk singers or...
Yeah, this is my original...
This is your body of work.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, part of why I'm asking that is that if we have, and I'm glad for your clarification, because this is something within the group, that's fine. It's not a national thing that becomes a national competition for national. This is just people who have that creative and say, hey, you know what? Let's do the thing.
It should. You never know what you're starting when you plant a seed. But in Jamaica, there is a national choir competition that features schools, and this is something that I think a lot of. You see, when you're performing, you want a crowd, right? And in Cayman, it's very hard to get a crowd to say, hey, come and look at a choir, unless there is some connection. But imagine in the Red Bay Primary School, you have 30 kids, but that's 60 parents, right? And then West Bay, you have another 30 in there. So you're just doubling up, before you know it, you're at 200 people in the audience. And if the preliminaries were online, and then we could, say, hey, come back next year, Kim and Brack, you guys tune up your voice. Then by the finals, you could fill the Hartwell Theatre or some auditorium and do a national choir competition. So it's you never know what you're starting, Curtis.
There you go.
And that's what I was trying to say. You start something. History tells us, some of the biggest churches or movements today started in the living room of one or two or three people, and it becomes this thing, whatever that thing is. So you start somewhere, you move, and part of the reason me asking for my own edification, but we have to maybe create this ethos so that whether it's a football match, whether it's a choir competition, that it includes, it invites, it involves as many to participate. The National Spelling Bee, there's probably a time 40 years ago, I think it's more than that now, where there's only a handful of people. Now it's so
No, yeah.
heavily subscribed. The NCFA, likewise, they've gone elsewhere.
Yep.
All right. When we come back then, let's talk more about, let's weave it in. I'm mindful that we have a lot of Caymanian folk songs that many of us, include myself, haven't heard in the longest time, probably not even realized it. But where does that go? How does that tie in? What is this? The news, and then after more convo, as Matt calls it. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. Shane Edward Connor is appealing his conviction and sentence today before the Court of Appeal. Connor was previously sentenced to 12 years in prison for his involvement in a 2017 home invasion and robbery. The appeals follow his conviction for a series of crimes, including aggravated burglary, which terrorized a couple in their home in Patrick's Island. Connor has consistently maintained his innocence, claiming he was not present at the crime scene. In regional news, in Trinidad and Tobago, police are investigating the death of 16-year-old Ileann Santo, who was shot at Wallerfield in Arima on Tuesday night. Santo was taken to the Arima Health Facility around 11:40 p.m. with gunshot wounds and was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. According to reports, Santo was at a neighbor's house when she went in to investigate a noise at the front door and was shot by an unknown assailant. The shooter fled the scene immediately. The incident adds to the growing number of homicides in Trinidad and Tobago, with over 400 murders reported so far this year. The United States Department of Justice announced that Ali Cabades de Paz, a 34-year-old Dominican national, has pleaded guilty to his role in a human smuggling operation that resulted in the death of a 3-year-old child in Puerto Rico. De Paz admitted to being one of the captains of a vessel carrying migrants from the Dominican Republic to Puerto Rico. While attempting to evade Puerto Rican law enforcement, the vessel malfunctioned and later capsized near the shoreline, leading to the child's death. De Paz faces a maximum penalty of life in prison, with a sentence hearing to be scheduled later. Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Nicole Argentieri emphasized the DOJ's commitment to combating human smuggling and highlighted the tragic consequences of such illegal activities. That is your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Health Services Authority would like to thank you, the Cayman community, for voting us the Best of Cayman Islands 2024 in 13 medical categories. As the largest and longest healthcare provider in the Cayman Islands, we have been caring for you for many generations, helping the people of our islands live longer, healthier, and happier lives. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky or call 949-8600.
Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman on 9th of September 1937. Fondly known as Big H to his family and friends, both a sailor and electrical technician with 5 years at sea and 29 years with cable and wireless, in January 1960, Big H married Cicely Dilbert of Creek, Cayman and had 5 sons. In October 1976, he was united in his second marriage to Francine Porter of Spot Bay, Cayman and they had 1 daughter. Big H was a part of the band Eddie and the Beach Boys, and in August 1977 traveled to New York, where he recorded and published his album, A Quick Drink by the Pool Bar. Big H could always be found at the Hilton, his backyard kitchen, which he built in the late 80s, to house in yams and cassava he cultivated on the bluff, later converting it into an outdoor kitchen which was named the Las Vegas Hilton. Big H spent the majority of his time at the Hilton, and you would find him playing his guitar and singing his heart out while sipping on his 345 beers. He was known for having many cook-ups with his famous beef and pork. On the evening of Wednesday, 18th September 2019, 9 days after celebrating his 82nd birthday, Hinton passed away peacefully at the Health City Hospital in East End, Grand Cayman. He was the proud father of 6 children, along with 17 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren.
Hey, welcome back and thanks. They say if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. They also say that, if you don't know where you're coming from, Matt.
Sometimes you explore and find new places, find some dark hole in the bush, and say, that was a beautiful instrumental there. And you see, just in the break, Susan from Radio Cayman popped in. She said, "I'll play a little Radley Under the Coconut Tree," and it just came back. This thing has been missing from my mind for the last maybe 10 years. When I think of a folk song, the first thing that pops in is Munzie Boat, right? But this is another hit that I just don't have at the top of my mind. We should, as as citizens, be able to come up with at least a handful of at least 5 songs that we can say this is our culture. And Under the Coconut Tree, so nice.
For you, Curtis, I mean, 2 decades you've been here. When you think of, as part of the folk singers, when you think of traditional folk songs, what comes to your mind? It doesn't, immediately, which song from where, whatever, what jumps at you?
All right, so because of being here for traditional folk, for me, is like Munzie Boat, with you as well.
No, be honest, man.
However, I'm talking about the last 20 years.
Yeah.
But prior to that, Louise Bennett with her... which song is going to come to my mind? Miss Lou and Moss Ran. You guys have me on the spot.
No, but very deliberate story, because sometimes when we talk about folk music, some may think of John Denver, some may think of other things.
That's sort of...
What's that one? Where that from?
That's from Jamaica.
Okay, but see, that is because that's who you are, and that's from what you shared last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if a country doesn't recognize, identify, respect, value, appreciate, support, promote, all those things, it'll never get anywhere. It'll not only be consumed, subsumed, it'll be destroyed, decimated, and increasingly divided. That's not a political statement. That's a recognition of what has happened historically.
Yep.
So, like to Matt's point, Munzie Boat in the song, right? Munzie Boat. Now, here's another one. And I won't try to say it because the two of you being the creatives that you are, I'm told many times artistic expressions, especially in music, have particular connotations and depictions and not always pleasant, polite, or even, how should we say it? So that as they're shared, sometimes there's an underlying story.
Yes.
This one, Dog War in Lawson Yard.
Dog War and Watering Place. Oh no, wait. Caymanians and Caribbean people love innuendos. They love suggestion. Julie, give me a piece of your mango. You sweet Julie mango. This is we want to say it without saying it, and we wrap it up in song, and that way kids can sing it while they're ignorant. And
legally correct.
Yeah.
Conch not got no bone.
Conch got a bone. Conch and the shell is hard.
But this is where I think if we look at Calypso, for instance, just traditionally speaking, right, and even more so, not even those who've studied, sort of history, but we're told the slaves used song for many things, right? Not just a call to action, but to communicate, to preserve, and ensure whatever. But there were more contemporary Calypsonians, 50, 70 years. By that I mean, contemporary. They speak to the political dynamic. You're talking about the social consciousness, and they're sharing. The innuendo is there. Sparrow, you ever eat a...
Okay.
Right? Now, some are very explicit.
Yeah.
Right? But some are so laced with innuendo. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I liken that to
Can I just jump in with a
please?
So we just lost Dave Martins, right? And he was the king of writing. So he has a song that's called "Honeymooning Couple." A honeymooning couple was in a bedroom, packing up to go away in the middle of June. When all of a sudden a big argument break out. Listen to the bridegroom. Listen what he shout. He telling she, you get on top. That's the way it must go. Yeah, you get on. And then the end of the song, so she has to get on top. Because he's listening outside the door. She has to get on top. One. And then in second verse, then they say, no, you get on top.
So the person's peeping through the crack.
Yeah. And at the end of the song now, he said, both of us get on top. So he said, what is going on? So he break open the door. He said, oh, it's a suitcase. We try and close up.
And how many people, right? Two things. Would assume in first hearing our song that's what they're talking about.
Everybody
right?
would assume that.
Secondly,
nobody would assume
right?
that. Yeah.
Secondly, if you ever travel, how many of us have not had that experience? How do you close this suitcase?
I want to see the two of them on top, man. They're gonna have to change the channel to a very dark channel to see it, but somebody they're gonna try it.
You're talking about soca music, calypso, and the evolution of it. In that way back in the days when they had the calypso tent and you would have these monarchs and Chalk, these guys, and then they would tell the stories, criticize the politicians and stuff, but doing it in such a friendly and funny way, right? But if you look at the evolution of the music coming to today.
It just ended up in whining.
Yes.
So there's four G's of Caribbean music. There is guns, which is comes out of the dancehall music. Girls. Which is the whining and let me talk to you and you're the hottest girl in the dance. There is ganja, which is like a lot of culture, slower reggae, and then there's God. And when I say God, that I'm referring more to Rastafarianism and that. But the four G's of reggae: guns, ganja. Girls, and God. Yeah. And it's very rare to find something that is an outlier of that. So this is what we lost. Calypsos used to talk about the community and your things that affected everybody, and like you said, politicians and scenarios, and all of that has been washed away. And now it is focused mainly on surrounding. Let's turn off the lights. Let's drink.
Yeah,
and dance and forget everything that's happened.
I'm looking at, even from my standpoint, from our reggae music standpoint, and the evolution of that as well. In that, it started out with it's a story and people singing about love and probably imitating the Americans in terms of originally. But then we got into our own and we started with the Bob Marleys and the Peter Tosh and these guys and established ourselves internationally. Now, it is probably more of a bigger money maker today than it was then, but it doesn't sound anywhere near what it used to sound like.
But it's great.
Yeah, the rhythm of reggae is not reggae. Yeah. It's like it's a rhythm, but it's lyrics that is, as you said, the four G's, right? Yeah. So we're going to cross calypso and we're going to cross the reggae, and it's the same thing, the four G's. That's what it has evolved into.
But let me then ask, when we look at that, and this is where I think the arts generally, but music in particular, we say the scriptures say David danced before the Lord. They say that even the devil, understood the importance of lyrics and how that can influence. Yeah. And anybody and everyone, any song that comes on that resonates with them, you see somewhat of a finger tapping, a toe tapping, right? Charlie Daniels talked about the devil went down to Georgia, right? And when you listen to that song, there's a very strong spiritual connotation as to the impact and the importance of being grounded, being confident, being able to hold your own. Right? Nobody in their right mind would go up against Pele unless they're a good football player. Right? But you will have a great game if you respect the game. So with that, as you talked about reggae and those four G's, is that more dance hall as opposed to good music?
All right. So the genre has changed. What is ruling? Reggae still exists. And reggae performers are filling concerts all over the world, right? However, dancehall is huge, and especially with our recent decarceration of a certain performer, that probably is going to make it even huger. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, I didn't know until I saw the media, but again, I
okay,
don't subscribe to that. Finish your thought, and I'll add two things.
Yeah, so dancehall, and dancehall has its place, and it's for the younger generation, definitely. It's not for my age.
So you don't listen to, subscribe to it?
I wouldn't say that.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, there are some.
You want a direct witness to answer the question, please?
Yes, I'm not saying that I don't listen, but because I'm a music person, I'm going to listen to all kind of music.
But that's why I asked.
But what is attractive to me, right? I like the design of the song, and sometimes even though it is having the 4 G's in it, but there is also some very, very skillful way of combining the G's that is not bad.
Right, so I love music, right?
Yeah.
And probably because, one, my father tried to teach me to play the guitar. I could hold the bar chords, my fingers could span all the frets, but the left hand and the right hand must have been connected to 2 different bodies. They did not coordinate. I mean, you could take a cat, put it on the blackboard, and it would sound better. I just didn't. God's willing, one day I'll make time to actually, because I want to learn. But plastic.
And from a medical point of view, that's a brilliant thing. To learn to play an instrument.
Yes.
Mentally speaking, wards off Alzheimer's and dementia, etc.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So for a medical, professional, thank you for putting that. Because music does something, right?
Yes.
I think guitar and the sax allows you to take music portable. I tried this once watching a guy to load his grand piano. And there's a bit of a noose around his neck, but different story, different time. But with that, in appreciating all music, I have very consciously recognized that. What was that thing that we used to sing when we were small? Be careful, little eyes, what you see, little ears, what you hear, and all that, right?
The Father up above, looking
right?
down and tender.
So we put things into our bodies, and boy, that's too much fat, too much sugar, too much whichever. It's not healthy, right? Agree?
Correct.
Medical professional.
Correct.
So too, that sound that we ingest. So I refuse to listen to dancehall. I see no value in it. And heavy metal. A personal thing, right? But I also found that it offends my spirit to the point where it's offensive. I mean, it's just, there's some other words that come to mind. It's inflammatory. Not going to discredit that artist for wanting to do this thing for whatever the reason, right? But as you just shared, as a musician, you're very polite, and today I won't be, right? In saying, hey, I like all music. But if we do not consciously in this world today say to our children and us as adults, this social media is foolishness, let's avoid it, right? That's what we said earlier.
That's what the caller said.
Okay, listen to the designers of this stuff. Some of the people who work for the companies still said they themselves in their households have restricted it. Am I speaking? True. Okay, physicians are saying we're seeing neck, wrists, and all sorts of issues as a result of the use of this thing. So far, so right?
Correct.
Okay. Yet, if you allow the constant use and abuse of this, what do you expect to happen? So too with music, right? With this person's consent, it's a parent driving to school, and every day, this song at this particular time comes on this particular station. Wasn't Radio Cayman. And they're singing along, beautiful beat. When you first hear it, you go, man, that's catchy. Till somebody said, but do you know what that song is saying? This is an adult, and a responsible, wonderful, loving parent. Wasn't me. Not like Shaka, right? And I go, oh, but the little 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old knows the song. And when the parent understood the actual words, not the inference, just the words that were being said, going, oh, so we're not conscious of it. Now, to me, that's irresponsible, almost malicious on the part of the radio station to play that. There's another song, long ago. There were only a few radio stations in Cayman. The song came on, someone called and said, if I know it, I said, well, no, I don't. Said, set your clock, it's going to come out at this time. During that school sort of time, right, where the children leaving. The song talked about suicide and whichever. Hey, it didn't take 2 seconds for me to recognize what it was. I thought I knew the people thought they were good people who run the station. I called. The jackass that answered was so obnoxious. God forgive me if he was near me. I would wrap the cord around his neck and showed him what the influence of his song could be like. Now that sounds inflammatory, right? But that's the impact that we have and the unwillingness of responsible people to step up. It's not about censorship, it's about responsibility. Was there a time not in our lives when certain programming only came on TV after a certain hour?
Correct.
Now it's anytime, anywhere. Forget about the internet.
And you have a phone.
Right.
You watch anything you want.
Okay. So much so that in the UK now they're going back to considering whether certain programming, this is today, should not be allowed after a certain time. And we're not talking about violence in the movies. We're talking about advertising to children about certain foods and the like. Am I wrong?
Correct.
That's on food.
Subliminally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we know this, why are we not doing anything about it?
So who's we?
It's big business.
Okay.
I just imagine that there are two concerts happening side by side.
Mm-hmm.
And in one concert, there are international artists that have what we consider vulgar music. But they have mass appeal. And both promoters for the concerts are trying to sell tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And one is appealing with what we call... let's call it vulgar music. And the other one says we're clean, we're kosher. This is not Christian, it's not gospel, but everything here is clean.
Yeah.
It's very hard to find entertainment while trying to walk that line of I'm willing to please everybody. So when you go to a nightclub in Cayman, you're more than likely going to be surrounded by other cultures, namely Jamaica and the U.S., and you mix that with liquor, and you mix that with 18-year-olds that are hyped up on testosterone, and this is a breeding ground for sometimes violence, for somebody to prove. If the song says that who in here a bad man, blah 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 blah, then this is driving this response in people.
Yeah.
And after a couple of drinks, you get people that are saying, "Hey, I'm willing to take action on this thought that is happening in my head."
Curtis, you want to jump in?
Yeah, and that is just explicit there. But what about the implicit, the advertising, or you're listening to the song and it is saying something that is appealing to your subconscious, and that is powerful.
Yeah.
And so when that impressionable group with all the testosterone going around and that thing hits them, they're probably sleeping on it and it's playing. They have the headphones on and that thing's playing.
Yeah.
It is still registering inside their mind. It may send them out to do stuff.
But what you're both sharing is no different, right, than that university student or a student in general that's in a classroom being introduced to a particular subject. We don't need to go back to the 60s and the 70s, even if we just really just limit it to the state of California and what we saw emanate from there relative to war protests, societal unrest and the like. You'll now be influenced by things probably championed by some philosopher or professor or the like.
Mm-hmm.
Media being a little bit different then. So if you're in that environment, I'll give you an example. In my very, very early teen years, I had a chance to attend a particular setting. In there, this was in the U.S. The guy comes on, speaks to the like-minded, like-aged individuals, presumably, and he shares a particular message. And you could feel the tension rise. You could feel the growing resentment towards the thing that he was talking about. Now, the Cold War was in full swing. The Berlin Wall hadn't come down as yet.
Mm-hmm.
And as I looked around, I go, wow, we're all being, what would be the word?
Not brainwashed.
Conditioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Primed, maybe?
Primed, sure.
Right? Young, impressionable students who seemingly exhibited some level of national pride, community interest, academic or intellectual ability, whatever it is, right? So these are, a lot of students by invitation. And this very influential individual, as introduced, right, wearing the particular garb and the like, shares a very powerful, what would be the word today? influential. He's an influencer,
Mhm.
right? Very motivating. And then, thankfully, he shifted, and he said, "What I just did, look at how all you felt, probably." And he did it. He says, no more than this amount of people probably didn't feel that. By show, be honest.
Yes, yeah.
And let's say it was 5 people who didn't feel it. He was spot on by maybe 1 or 2, right? And I go, wow. And he said, what we need to do is build peace. We need to recognize how we can become so into this echo chamber, into this, right? Never forgot that. And to today, we're still creating that divide. We can stir people to violence, like that song.
Look at what Hitler did. I mean, these you think that that they were ignorant or uneducated. These were adults that were educated, and they were able to be influenced heavily by one person with charisma. And that is a fault of democracy. That is a fault of what we call, this capitalist society that we live in. We allow charisma and power and stature to push us to support people.
Right.
And it sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it ends horribly.
Yeah. Let me add one more G, if I might.
Okay.
4.
I'm waiting for this.
5G?
5G. Hey. Listen. If you are at all inclined to say that we're getting into some, engage in just in discussion, this is today the 5th G.
Yeah.
Want to guess what it is?
No, I'm waiting now.
Come on.
Not goodness.
Not goodness? Garrison.
Oh, yeah.
Shared by the politician in the democracies who born for dead, right? A book we all should read. Now, many people hear and go, "Ooh, he's talking." No.
What's the name of the book?
Born for Dead.
Born for Dead.
Yeah, you never read it?
No.
A powerful, instructive in terms of, I guess, my view. Take it apart, look at it, and apply it globally without, as we tend to do, maligning and marginalizing. If you take up an influential group through money, military, or whichever, being able to equip / arm or bring about, this level of influence, it's kind of like AI in my sense. We've unleashed this power in AI that we have no idea. It's not even Pandora's box. Be mindful, the fellow said the other day, of trying to open this thing that you can't control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if our politicians have created, and I think this is where the one man, one vote, or the one person, one vote, whether it's in Cayman, they've introduced it, or it's in the US, or other parts, you can, design your political constituents in such a way that you can cement power. You can influence a significant portion of people and given a lack of participation, where you can hold on to that with a relative small percentage. If that garrison mentality in community is cemented, you'll never have democracy, you'll never have participation, because everybody's going to say it's a fait accompli.
Yep.
Right? And yet people listening going, what are you talking about? Well, let's think about it.
That's died in the wool,
Yeah.
That's just them.
Right?
Yeah.
Here are 3 people. The only thing that we may have in common immediately is that we all good looking. Hey, Matt?
So we should vote. All 3 of us.
All in favor? All right.
But back to the music, is that it could be a politician, it could be an artist, it could be anybody who has the charisma and the confidence to go and stand behind a microphone, and you can pump any message into whoever will listen.
Exactly. All right, we have a break to take. We could weave it back into it, because this is where I think what was it that was said to that by that fella that says, we're on the precipice and about to take one bold step forward.
Yeah.
Remind me who said that when we come back. Please join us after the break.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with a creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The 7 a.m. weather update, weekdays on Radio Cayman, is brought to you by RAM Water Tanks. Call 925-3832 to order your water tank. RAM, built to last a lifetime.
According to statistics in the 2022 Cayman Islands Student Drug Use Survey, 23.1% of students reported being bullied in the last 12 months. The Anti-Bullying Schools Regulations 2022, brought forward by the Ministry of Education, aim to prevent bullying in our schools and help schools create a welcoming and safe learning environment for our children. Please encourage your children to report bullying to an educator. Learn more at gov.ky/education.
UCCI Registration Week is on until tomorrow, Friday, August 30th. With new courses available in science, technology, engineering, and math, plus primary education, cybersecurity, and more to help increase your opportunity in Cayman's rapidly changing job market. UCCI faculty are available throughout the week to assist with the registration process and to provide guidance and program selection. You can visit www.ucci.edu.ky or contact the UCCI Admissions Office.
Run, iguana, run. Run, iguana, run. Stay away from open spaces or public beaches. Run, iguana, run. Run, iguana, run. Officially, you are now an endangered species. They met in a clearing over by Barkers. A group of residents gathered from far and near. For the meeting was to determine why their lives been threatened from year to year. Presiding over the gathering was Cayman Parrot, who called proceedings to order with one loud squawk. She said it's about time we get together. It's well overdue to have this talk. The first one to raise his paw was the green iguana. He said from day to day I am living in fear.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And that was Endangered Species, an original works by, Curtis Mason. You're Perry Mason, right? But this is not the same guy. And in the studio together with Curtis is Matt Brown. But before I ask questions, Curtis, share with us some more, man. That's your piece.
It's amazing to me that out of this head of mine came this thought, and then to see the evolution of it from putting it on a paper and then changing the lines and changing the lyrics, changing the rhymes and adding and subtracting and then singing it and then going into a studio and hearing it done. It's just like magical.
Is there something about when you work, whatever that is, right? You're an artist, maybe you draw a house plan, you sculpt, whatever. When you see your thing in that tangible form, you hear it, you feel it, you taste it, you touch it.
Yes.
What's the word? Empowers you?
Yes. But for me, because I don't do this often,
right?
You know, maybe those who have been doing it over years, you know, it's another thing. But for me, this is my second. It's my second song, and just to hear it and to sing it every time, it gives me goosebumps.
I think what you said earlier, we understand it now. You gotta thank your wife. She put it together. You're a good man. He gave her. What do you call her? You're better for 3/4. I think you said.
Everything.
He's a good man.
Yes, absolutely.
But I'm hoping though, Matt, that as we look at the Cayman landscape, in as I heard it, you said over in Barcas, and that's so good because too many times we say Cayman and we don't pronounce it properly. We say Barcas.
I got it right?
It probably it's Barcas, right? Not Barkers. And it's unfortunate, in my attempt to be jovial, that we do not appreciate. A fellow gave me a list of names of places across different places in the U.S. and other parts, and the names are so remarkable, and they speak. One would be akin to, Old Grass Lane kind of deal, right? And it would want it to be changed. But that's what it was for the people for a long time, and somebody comes along and thought, oh, that makes a sound, whichever, right? And I thought, wow, it's important that we... But Matt, how do we do that? Whether through music, we talked about the Calypsonia, how do we ensure that we not only capture and cement, but we also ensure that the people hold fast to that which is good? It shouldn't just be the model at the high school.
You have to start from a young age. You have to influence children. So I'm going down to kindergarten. You have to repeat. It's something that has to be looked at as nation building. I was talking to a friend from Jamaica. She is a drama teacher here at our John Gray High School. And she says, listen, in Jamaica, you get your culture packaged and given to you. By the time you leave school, this is your culture package. And in Cayman, we have watered down and we've become ashamed of our heritage. I wouldn't say our culture. Culture is what we do. And in Cayman, our culture would be, we go to Commmitte Bay. That's part of our culture. We go to, and we go to Smith Cove. We don't go to Smith Bacadir. So we go to Smith Cove. That's a part of our culture. And things change. I grew up knowing it as Smith Cove. So I don't have this kind of bitterness or to the change, but I can see just looking at you when I say Smith Cove, you shake.
No,
but this is the evolution of our people.
Because this is, well, if you want to jump in, I'll just
go ahead.
This is why I enjoy Matt making time to speak with me, speak to me, to share with me, because just like whether it's Smith Cove or Smith back there, simple as that may be, there are many who would be so offended, but it's because over time things have been subtle. The frog who is thrown in the boiling water jumps out. The frog who slowly just stays there and enjoys the bath and turns up. You go, oh, this is nice. And then so long after, dinner. Right? And that's what has initially, I think, happened to Cayman. We have allowed little things to change. A road is slipped, a name is removed or replaced, and Barcas. I know many people say, boy, you can learn to say that properly. It's not about saying it properly. It's not about diction, idioms. It's not about intonation. It's about reflecting and respecting who you are. I think your writing should be as best as you can, unless you're writing it in a particular parlance to reflect something. But when you speak, it must be in such a way that it is. Take our Trinidadian friends, for instance, or Haitian friends. Very few of them will be mistaken for anybody else.
Exactly.
Caymanians and Jamaicans go on a Cayman Airways flight before the touchdown. The accent change.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I think we. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it's not going to change. It has to. You have to brainwash the children.
But who is we? I hear you guys keep saying.
Okay, well,
we.
if I start the conversation by saying that it's children, then that would tie into educators. But it just so happens that our educators are not Caymanians.
Okay.
So our education system is filled by well-intentioned teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But how can an American teach a child Cayman's heritage? How can a Jamaican teacher instill Caymanian values into a child? It's impossible. It's nothing to say. It's nothing. I just want to hit that again. That it's nothing against them, and we appreciate them and we need them to be teachers because we don't have any. Yeah. We are Caymanian teachers.
Curtis, people hear Matt say that.
Yes.
Or anybody say that. Oh, he's anti and whatever it is, right?
No, it's a fact.
It's a fact.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Right. But I believe that in addition, though, what could help in this situation is to teach civics in the primary school, starting from the primary school. Have a subject that is telling you about the history, about the people who came before, about slavery.
It's slow, Curtis. And I have to say, sorry, the Department of Culture, the Education Department, they have made steps forward. I walked into the John Gray High School and I saw on the wall Cayman's National Heroes.
Good.
There was a poster. And I said, oh my gosh, I don't know who these people are. Yeah, I stopped and I'm looking at the poster and say, okay, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Because it was never given to me, but it is being given to them. Right. It's a slow process, but there has been a lot of work
I think
done.
It's something that,
and I want to just congratulate everybody who has been a part of the work.
Incremental. Absolutely. And this is where when I ask who is gonna, this is one where it's easy to bell the cat in this particular one.
Yes, we don't know about this.
You know the story? No, there was a story.
This is your no,
it's not.
Here is this a Jamaican saying?
No, it's not.
It's American saying.
Yeah. So so listen out. Here's the story. There's there were a lot of rats living in this place, and
a European
cat was terrorizing the rats. So they said, let's meet together and see if we can fix this problem. So they got together and said, okay, this one, we're getting ready. We're losing all our cousins and brothers and sisters. So one said, let's get a bell and put around the cat's neck so that whenever he comes, the bell will ring and we'll know that it's coming so we can run away. So who will bell the cat?
Yeah. It's interesting, right? And this is where I think language is so instructive. And I think one of the biggest challenges that we may have with the Bible is that it's not just translation and transliteration, right? Obviously interpretation and application. But when we try to take something and make it, was it a square peg in a round hole? So in the Cayman context, was that a call, Miss Susan? I want to make sure I didn't misunderstand. Okay. All right. So we're going to break the take. We take that. All right. And then we take the call after. Look at that.
Summer's heating up, and so are the good times. Whether you are out on the water, enjoying the beach, or gathering with colleagues for an office bash, make it a feast to remember with Subway. From assorted sandwich platters to mouth-watering cookies, our catering menu has something for everyone. Perfect for groups of 5 or more. For food that's fresh, fast, and perfect for any occasion, choose Subway Catering. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Hurricane season is upon us. After a storm, CUC will restore critical services first and then begin to restore all customers. Be sure to follow the CUC social media pages for updates so you can stay informed. Stay safe, Cayman.
If you're hearing, then maybe it's time you replace that old appliance. Now until the end of August, you can save 15% on all LG appliances at Brand Source Home Gallery. LG washers, dryers, refrigerators, ranges, cooktops, microwaves, and hoods are all on sale at Brand Source Home Gallery. Not only will you save 15%, you also receive a 1-year parts warranty with any LG appliance purchased by the end of August. Only at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks, and thanks to Curtis Mason for pulling himself away from his practice. And I don't know, Matt Brown, sometimes it's good to get away from your normal job to remind you of why you go to work and to be surrounded. Cayman is, to me, if not the most, certainly one of the most beautiful, blessed, just an amazing place. We get to meet, interact, engage with people from everywhere, no matter if they've been here for 5 minutes or 50 years, right?
What?
Yeah.
What is fascinating is that no one wants to do what they do. Somebody has a job. And they say, man, I want to do something else.
Yeah.
No one is satisfied with just continuing what they're doing. You either want to elevate your status and say, oh, I want to be a manager. And then once you get to the manager, I want to be a director. But humans in general, we are never at peace with the present moment.
All right.
And that is one of the secrets of happiness. Okay. is being happy in this moment, not worrying about the next moment. What's going to happen? No, right now.
Yeah, man. We got a call, all right, and honored that you will join us. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Hi. How are you today?
Not bad.
Thank you.
I'm listening to your program,
Mm-hmm.
and over the years I've been here, like 51.
Yes, wow.
I noticed that the teachers that come here, they're teaching the children Jamaican cultural songs, which is so wrong because Quincy has so many that we could teach. And in other words, I hear them teaching the children one about John Crow. Have you ever seen a John Crow in Cayman?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
No, there's none. But I just want to emphasize your point. Even the famous song "Sammy Dead, Sammy Dead, Sammy Dead, Sammy Deado." This was used in political campaigns. We champion other cultures' folk songs. It's not that we are not only not singing our own songs, but we are celebrating and pushing other culture songs, which is great for their artists. You imagine how proud those Jamaican songwriters would feel, because the goal of a songwriter is to spread their message, to get as much as exposure as possible.
I'm talking about the one that meant with John Crows.
No. But I'm just expanding on what you're saying. You want to sing us a piece of it because maybe we're familiar.
Yeah, no, I watch Channel 33 and 23 a lot. And when they have fillers and they play some school programs with children singing,
mm-hmm.
I've been noticing it over the years. And I'm saying, I don't know, how would these children even know what a John Crow is?
Shoe Fly, Don't Bother Me, John Crow. These are the songs that the teachers know.
What's a shoe fly?
I assume that they're saying shoo, as in get away. Shoo, fly, don't bother me. But what is a shoo fly? Ma'am, as a child, when I heard that song, I thought the same thing as you. What is a shoo fly? Because it wasn't a part of my culture. I didn't understand it, but I didn't even know to ask a question. But I suspect that the teachers themselves are so comfortable with the material that they feel that they have enough confidence to be able to teach it. So they know the melody, they know the interactions, they know how to the gestures of the song. So they're doing their best to teach something. But it just so happens that it's not Caymanian at its core. But you see the person who just left, Curtis Mason, this is a song that he wrote that has actual Cayman lingo, is talking about barkas now and it's talking about development. It's art that you can interpret however you like, but at least there is something there that is connected to Cayman.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate you sharing, because I think that's one of the challenges that we're speaking to. Who is teaching what and how? And maybe do they have the resources? Respectfully, Mom, thank you for that. Let's take these next at least 2 calls before we go to the news. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Ileann, how are you?
Excellent. How are you doing, man?
Not too bad. I just turned you on. Are you on any particular subject today?
Matt Brown is in the studio. What are we on?
No, we like to go with where the conversation takes us, man. You put out something. Let's hear where you're going.
We did a cat, but we talking, man. We talking.
Thank you. Good afternoon to your guests there too, Sterling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I heard on the talk show, one of the other talk show this morning. You might have to help me along with this, but I can't exactly remember the number. It was either $5 or $50 million that there's talk or there's plans of building another school.
Well, that's a big difference, boy.
Yeah, boy. No, you don't want to be that banker. Make that zero mistake.
I mean, that account. No, I believe in the bracket school. I think the number that has been banted about 50 million was a number that was banted about. I did not hear the comment this morning, but 50 million was the proposed sum the community has latched onto.
$50 million?
Yeah, but that's CI dollars, you know.
Oh, they the Jamaica dollars. Okay.
No, that's CI.
But we won't go over the budget, you hear? This is the project.
It's on time.
We can't go over that budget.
Okay. When there was a lot of back and forth and backlashing on Mr. Bushman, he wanted to increase the population to 100,000. All right. If this school is being planned for that, who are we planning for? Who are these schools being built and planned for?
Well, there is hopes of development in Cayman Brac. As you can see, our family, Uncle Dart. You know him? Uncle Dart?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. He's your cousin. Yeah.
He not belong to your sister?
Yeah, no, he's a part of he's a Caymanian, you know. We got to call him Caymanian Uncle Dart. He's invested heavily over there in the utility companies. So I think that he is probably well advised in his calculations. So he's looking for population growth. Frank Schilling is also interested in doing Port Zeus, which is a major investment. And I'm sure he's hoping to either sell or to get a healthy return. So the likes of a $50 million school might be actually in line with what the information says. We are reacting to it, you know, with shock, because maybe we are ignorant to facts that we don't know. So I would hope with that you would get world-class education and an excellent teacher to student ratio. But I suspect that the reason you're calling is because you think that is overspending, or that money could be used elsewhere. Is that right?
Not the matter of that. It's who are the schools are being built for. That is where my argument is. And by the way, Dart, we're family. His mother and my mother, 2 mothers. So that's we're really close.
Yeah, I hear he cooks turtle and has people around. So, yeah.
Just one other thing,
Yes, sir.
gentlemen. There was a slap in the face to me, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for a lot of the other Caymanians. When Sterling, when Keisha, I think it was, that was on it a few days ago, whether it was Monday or Wednesday, that was saying that, you know, she went to John Gray High School and there was nothing being taught about Cayman culture. It was all Jamaican. Now, how can we allow this to happen in our school? I could not believe when I heard that. I suspect it was going on, but I didn't know to what extent it was. But that was a slap in the face to me, and I'm sure a lot of other Caymanians. And this should not be happening in this country. When our politicians can say enough is enough, regardless of who you're upset or you don't upset, because we cannot take much more of this, what is happening in this country. And I'm sure you two gentlemen there experiencing the same thing that I am seeing. Where is this country going?
Some would say they held in a handbasket, but good question, sir. Thank you, and with the greatest respect, let's take these next two before the 2 p.m. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello? Welcome.
Hello, Sterling.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? You had all that chocolate you wouldn't see him on?
No, boy, there's two things I don't share.
And the way you see Sterling and Matt Brown sitting down, chocolate got be there, that's not right, man. You don't see him.
You bet you see us tomorrow?
I tell you, from time I seen Matt sitting next to me at the gathering Georgetown when I was down there collecting my mother gift. He told me him sitting down talking. From then I say, something, this man here, if he hang out with Sterling, and I'll get some more talking to man, so. The two wanna go find somewhere else, go, some other show.
Soon come.
Soon come. All right, cool. But I just want to comment on that lady that I had called earlier regarding the schools with the national art festivals of the arts when they have those activities. You can hear me, okay, right?
We are listening to you and can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good. It is true what she says, and I remember Kim and Brock School had a skit, and I remember Mr. Koo got up and said to the kids, if the kids had said the skit that they did in a Cayman way of speaking, they would have won gold. The Kim and Brock School would have won gold. But by them acting under, let me put it this way, southeast of our bluff activity of how they act, they made the children act the same way of which the teacher came from that country. And it was nothing to do with Caymanian talking, it was nothing to do with Caymanian dancing, it was just this Eastern Caribbean rubbish that they do, and that caused the class to get a silver medal. The woman told them plain straight, if they had stick to the Cayman way, they would have clearly won the gold medal for that. And it's true what a woman saying, Sterling. Is some people not really take it serious and understand. But when you stop and think, all of these skits that the kids doing going through schools of acting and other things, it all comes down to adding in all different nationalities. When we are Caymanians and we forgetting that we are Caymanians, and we comes away from that, I am saying that anything might be wrong with it, but when we get too complacent, that is when things will go the other way.
Yeah, man. And it's about, as you shared, not just being respectful, accommodating, including, but being mindful of who you are and, having the, how do you put it, Matt? The courage, but also the understanding that it's the expectation. My friend, I don't want to cut you, but I'm going to take the news. And then, stay tuned. Miss Ileann Powery joins us after.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Commmitte.
With a look at your latest headlines, I'm Dwayne Ebanks. Good news for drivers heading into town from the eastern districts. The new road connecting Outpost Street to the Bobby Thompson Way roundabout has partially opened. The National Roads Authority is hoping that the move will enhance traffic flow and alleviate congestion in the area. While the road is now accessible to the public, the project remains incomplete with ongoing roadworks scheduled to continue. In regional news, in Grenada, Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell has appointed Seville Francis as the new parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Youth and Sports, replacing Jonathan Lecrette. Francis, who holds degrees in psychology and social work, was sworn in by the Deputy Governor General Tillman Thomas on Wednesday. Thomas emphasized the importance of Parliament and expressed confidence in Francis's capabilities. Francis will officially take her oath as a senator on Friday, with the main agenda being the discussion of EC $269 million supplementary budget. She is pledged to execute her duties without bias. In the British Virgin Islands, Dame Janice Pereira, former Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Courts, has been appointed to His Majesty's Privy Council by King Charles III. The appointment recognizes her significant contributions to the legal field, including her role in modernizing the court system with digital justice platforms. Dame Pereira, the first female Chief Justice in the ECSC since 2012, will now provide legal advice to the sovereign and contribute to important decisions across the Commonwealth. Her career is distinguished by numerous accolades, including being named Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire and receiving an honorary doctorate of law degree from the University of West Indies. That is your latest headlines. I'm Dwayne Ebanks.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
You can now renew your driver's license or motor vehicle license online, and you don't need an ESID number. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Visit www.dvdl.gov.ky.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Commmitte to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Commmitte are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Commmitte has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Commmitte for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Commmitte. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome and thanks very much for joining us in the studio. She always serves as not only a fantastic chaperone, fantastic, some would say sage, certainly a voice who has for many years filled our airwaves, and the wonderful presence of Miss Donna Bush, she shares, with us. So, Miss Ileann Powery, I just realized that there's many things I probably couldn't do, and now more so. Wearing a crown.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. My head may be big, but it doesn't have that balance. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for bringing your wonderful presence, that, engaging persona, but also that just liberating smile.
Yes,
so,
thank you for having me. Great to be here again.
Miss Donna, how are you?
I'm really good. Thank you for having us.
I see kind of, as I look at Miss Donna, I see, Joan Rivers, Elizabeth Taylor mix, you're beautiful with the, intellect. It's always a pleasure.
I'll take the compliment.
That's
Thank
right.
you very much.
Receive it.
Please receive it because, despite us being contemporaries, you've always championed a path that many Caymanians were unwilling sort of embrace the media and to be front and center continually. And even as I say chaperone, but it's more to it than that, as you nurture, gauge, inspire, guide our young ladies in particular on the world stage. That is a legacy that hopefully many of us would appreciate and be inspired to do likewise.
And worth applauding.
I hope so.
Thank you.
I hope so.
Thank
And
you,
worth
Miss
applauding.
Powery.
Thank you.
When Miss Ileann reached out to me, I thought, you know what, this would be fitting, but for those who are listening, Matt was just sharing, and I don't think I'm talking to the school. We love pageantry in Cayman. And it could have been the very early days, and I'm reminded that we've had many wonderful ladies over the decades who've gone through, but pageantry has been around for, well, I'm talking even in the 30s, Miss Donna. Susan says she remembers as a little child going to them, but
Yeah,
Don't do
I
that.
think 40 plus years, certainly from the 70s.
I'm told even before that.
Maybe so.
Remember I
yeah.
told you Susan was going through young?
Yeah.
Did you miss that?
It's been a very long time. And I think there are people in Cayman who either really appreciate and love pageantry or people who just don't. I tend to find a few people in between.
Yeah.
You know?
Between the two extremes, definitely.
Yeah. But I think these days we have more that are for pageantry than as we have these young women who are really microphones and voices for pageantry, for the platforms.
Yeah. But is it there? And as we speak to you, as you end out, I mean, thank you for making time in your schedule. And even though it was offered to you as much, we realize how busy, engaging, and almost sometimes expected of many of us. But is there a perception that some must have of pageantry? And if so, has that changed? Because the more I interview and interact, I recognize that my initial version of it is accurate. It's a lot of work, a lot of discipline. That grace and elegance and poise that you see is, in my mind, it's very much like the football team that goes to the final. It's all the preparation that they got and went through to get them there. Similar?
Yeah, I would think in that case, for us, the final match that you see on the field is on the final night.
Yeah.
However, leading up to those games or on that night, there's preparation that takes place that you never know about. You don't know about the emotions that take place, the ups and downs of the journey that come with it inevitably. And so a lot of people only expect or have this perception that the final night is exactly all that it takes just to go up there for that moment. But there's the community presence. Like, I'm here, I need to know how to talk to be able to get my message across to you. So communication is another aspect of pageantry that is very important and vital. There's the external of upkeep and the makeup, the wardrobe, and just being presentable. That's a big part of the role as well. So it's not just going on that final night and seeing that result of the prep. And I think people kind of misunderstand that, which is understandable. If you're not educated and knowledgeable about it, you can't blame people for not knowing. But I think people are starting to understand that it is more deeper than just that final night.
And that depth, I think, stems from confidence as well. Right? When you go, whether it's here, whether it's that final night, whether it's the other public presentations, it's not everybody has a day that they wish wasn't, right? But you have to perform. You have to show up.
You have to show up and show out. Basically, it's like almost putting on another version of yourself.
New persona. Right?
I always tell young women, you're going to be on the stage individually for about 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds.
Yeah.
Not a long time. You can fall apart once you've hit, the steps, but keep it together while you're on there. And you mentioned something about confidence. Not everybody is born with the same levels of confidence, but I honestly believe that pageantry really assists every young lady who enters with their confidence levels, if they'd be honest, I've seen so many young women just grow to the best version of themselves, and years later, people will always remember that you're Miss Cayman and the confidence that you exuded, because it takes bravery, actually, and courage to go on that stage.
But to you, Miss Ileann, I think that confidence comes from your community, those who are in your tribe who are supporting you, because there's arrogance, which is not confidence. Confidence, I think, comes from competence, but it also comes from a commitment. But from your community who says, hey, I got you. You ever did a puppet show and puppet is front on. You can't see what's behind it. But that little thing that's holding that up is what we need. That's someone who is our support. I got your back, who helps you in your planning, your preparation? Who helps you with your presentation? And our country isn't doing enough of that. That's why I champion your Irene. Can I say Irene? Is that okay?
Yeah, Irene.
You're in a crown. You're a queen.
Yeah.
It's Irene.
It's Irene.
That talks about not just owning your space, but reflecting and respecting. I listen to you speak, and I go, huh. I mean, it's much more eloquent than me, but boy, we say about us just alike.
Yeah.
And it's not because we're unintelligible or not intelligent at all. It's like we know what it is, and we have the confidence because we run up a barefoot back us.
That's right. But I think, honestly, confidence is very subjective. So you can have a situation where somebody had not the best upbringing, but they use that to fuel them later on in life. So I can't say because I had a village, which I do, thankfully, but some people don't have a village and they're able to still find this confidence that comes from only God knows where. And so I do think it's very subjective. And for me, I like to put a spin on confidence. I like to say Godfidence, because for me, that's where I get my confidence from, for sure, in addition to my family and supporters. So it's different for everybody, but once you find it, that's it. Like, the fuel will just spark the fire.
So not a coincidence, but a God incidence. Not a confidence, but that, I think, comes from the fact that it's not just semantics, right? You know what supports, nurtures, grounds you. And for many people, there's a lady that I interviewed amongst many, and I was just reminded this other day, Carla A. Harris, an amazing lady. Not because she's a Harvard grad or Wall Street icon, but her faith goes before her.
Yeah.
And she'll go, you know what, I need to get this deal together, but not right. She retreats to her prayer closet and, seeks counsel.
Yeah.
And having that confidence in who you are, not offending people with what you are, not being an imposing figure because you're 6'5", full of muscles like that song, but because you never forget who you're for. I say that to share that, Ms. Donna, without people like you, and there are others thankful over the decades, but without that constant presence of nurturing, a parent is always a parent at 90 years old, or if your child is 9, you are always that loving, supporting, nurturing parent. Right? And that's biological or otherwise.
Yes.
So thank you.
You mentioned arrogance, though, and confidence and the comparison. And I think, Caymanians, we're known for our humility. We're known to be humble and hospitable. So when we see someone who may be in the pageant arena that is, I like to call it, rather than arrogance, I like to call it overconfident.
Okay.
Because there's one thing about speaking things into being in your own personal closet or your own personal space with God, but publicly speaking certain ways can make you appear to be cocky and arrogant, and I think that's way beyond confidence. That's, to me, that's almost a lack of confidence, and that's not what we want our young ladies to.
It's almost insolence.
To have.
Yeah. But this is where, as Ms. Ileann shared, I've been honored, and I thank you all. If there's something I'll miss when I'm no longer hosting and I'm governor, because if my I borrow that for many reasons, but there's a young fellow from our own district, and he just graduated, right? And he says, next election, not this one coming, going to be very young. He's going to be.
Can we shout him out?
Yeah,
Jared.
Yeah. He's paving.
Can we shout him out? Come on.
But that's a different platform.
Yes.
That confidence, and some might say it's cockiness. That's a whole different platform. When it comes to beauty, I think we're so much more judgmental.
Yeah, but they say beauty is in of the beholder, right? And when I say someone is beautiful, I recognize immediately, male or female, they're going to think you're thinking about the physical persona. Right. To me, you're a beautiful person.
Yeah.
I don't see, because trying to take what the scripture says, man looks at the outward God. Your spirit, or whatever that thing is in
Aura.
You, you can feel it. And some of us, man, we ugly to the bone. You don't be skin deep. Susan, boy, take a break. Okay, so when we come back, would you share with us about your year, Irene, where you go next, and to Jaren, hey, he's going to be the next.
That's right, we're putting it out there.
There you go, man.
Speaking it
into me. All right, join us after the break.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit caymannational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments September 4th to the 7th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Wayne Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drportercayman@gmail.com. That's drportercayman@gmail.com. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
September 2024 is World Alzheimer's Month, and this year the theme is Time to Act on Dementia, Time to Act on Alzheimer's. This global campaign aims to raise awareness, challenge stigma, and highlight the positive actions taken worldwide to create a more dementia-friendly society. Dementia is a term for progressive brain disorders that impact memory, thinking, behavior, and emotions. Alzheimer's and vascular dementia make up about 90% of cases. While we can't change our genes or stop aging, we can lower our dementia risk by staying active, eating well, and socializing. Maintaining heart health by avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol also reduces the risk of dementia and other diseases. Join the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association's district meetings to learn more about diagnosis, care, and support. Dates will be announced on Radio Cayman through your constituency offices and district community officers. For more information, please call 924-4170.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And every day we very consciously and prayerfully set about with a positive purpose. And today, in the presence of both Miss Ileann and Miss Donna, I thank you all. I say this increasingly in reflecting publicly what I do privately. Those of you who know me know I don't say much publicly about me, but we can look to the two of you as fine examples of incredible people from good stock.
Thank you.
And understand how important it is to embrace and support and celebrate, not because we exclude them, but because we are, like the Youth Services Unit Youth Awards, proud of them. So thank you both for being here, but just thank you both for being you.
Thank you.
You know,
that's such a strong compliment. I got a little chill, honestly.
Listen, I love people, and some even I like. Just kidding.
Thank you, Dwayne.
I always gotta be serious, but anyway. Your year, I mean, what was it like? I remember you and I. No, just kidding.
No, my goodness, here we go. What are you going to say now?
No, let me stop now and be like, boy, behave yourself.
Behave yourself.
No, it's that person that I see who, from the community engagement and the cleanups to the person who on the national stage, an example of consistency, of etiquette, of integrity, of a strong moral ethos. And that speaks to, as you shared when you first came on, you know, from all of the immediate family, but to your grandmother. And that's who we are, man.
That's it. Yeah. It's been a year. It's been a lot of work that I set out to do from the beginning. And so I'm just really grateful to God that I was able to pursue that and to just apply it and just run with it. And so I, as you all would know majority of you would know by now, I went to pretty much all the schools in Cayman. I was just short of a handful. I reached out to every school, but not every school got back to me. So my goal was going to be achieved if I did hear back. But, I'm short of about maybe 4 schools that I didn't visit. And so I'm just so grateful to have accomplished that. That was something that I wrote about. I knew I wanted to go into the schools, and I happened to get the opportunity to speak about bullying. And that's a prevalent issue. And I'm so grateful that I got to get an idea as to how like I said, prevalent it is in our schools, and having students open up to me while there and to admit I'm being bullied and have them say that in front of their peers and in front of their teachers, and to know that that was probably the first time they got to openly share that will forever be ingrained in me. And I of course, with that experience, want to continue after my reign, and I don't want to be that queen that is queen for a year and then dips out, as we say. I don't want to disappear. I want to continue what I've started. And the whole point, or one of the main points of me wanting to do Miss Cayman, was to be more involved in my community. I know as a Caymanian that it is really my duty to do that. And I knew I wasn't doing enough. And so one of the reasons that I entered was to have that opportunity. And thankfully I won, and I was able to expound on that. And so I really, like I said, I'm so grateful for everything that I got to do, for those who invited me to their events, for the churches that invited me to speak on bullying. I even got into churches, which I didn't think was going to happen, but it got to that point. I had some workplaces reach out to me as well. So like I said, the job isn't done because I'm taking this crown and handing it over to another girl. I want to continue that. So yeah, it's been an eventful year, and I'm just grateful.
It reminds me that, what is say, too much is given, much is required, right? And the notion that you take in, if I use the incorrect word, the platform, right? And from the church to the workplace, bullying actually takes place, and sometimes we're not even conscious of it.
It doesn't stop at childhood.
Yeah, it's almost unintentional. You don't realize that your presence has such a strong impact that you don't have to be the pastor or the senior principal in the partnership. You could be that person that is just so present. Right, Ms. Donna? And it happens.
Yeah, and bullying happens on many, many levels. I mean, just the way you talk to people and your tone and your body language can be a form of bullying. And then you have the very extreme, which we know a lot of that happens, as Ileann alluded to, here in Cayman at the younger age, the kids who are in school, that sort of stuff. I think as you get older, it can happen in the workplace, more on the level that I just mentioned. But yeah, Ileann has been doing an amazing job. I have watched her just grow and just blossom into this. She was already confident, but she's so much more confident now of herself as a young woman. She knows how to put herself together, and nobody needs to help anymore. Whereas at the beginning, a lot of the young women come in and they're somewhat unprepared in some areas, but she's just so much more well-rounded now as a young woman. And I'm happy to hear that she's going to be continuing to do more of what she's been doing in the last year.
And I chop it up, if I might, just on 2 things. That notion that somebody comes into a space equipped. They have certain things that they're not just because of their physical presence, but literally head and shoulders, figuratively above, because they've had that thing. But everybody needs somebody, sometime, as the song goes, but to just help them to get better, right? Unfortunately, in our society, we dismiss those that we say, you can't help him, but you know where he's from. Or that one, she's okay because she's already hid. But who are we helping? I mean, I have to really answer that question because it's not been answered. And so the second thing is that with you now going forward your platform, it doesn't matter if you're using the legacy, being a part of the alumni, whether it becomes political, pastoral, or otherwise. You're going to champion something because it's necessary. How can we help you to ensure that this isn't just a passing, comment?
That's such a powerful question. No one has ever asked that. And so I think the easiest answer or the easiest thing is don't be quick to bash, or don't be quick to be so negatively judgmental, or don't be too quick to remain silent. And I feel like as Caymanians, I'm going to obviously call on my people because I'm a Caymanian, so I can speak on that.
Right.
I feel like we keep quiet for too many of the things that need our voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say I would encourage you, all whoever is listening to this, if you want to be a part of that movement that he just mentioned, use your voices. So if that means carrying the message along with me on social media, or the things that I've said and you've learned from that, spread that. Like literally continue the movement by using your voice. And that's something that I teach the students whenever I go and present on bullying, is to use your voice. There's so much power in that. And so literally you speaking is more powerful than you realize. Don't be that Caymanian that sits behind the screen and just judges and just thinks, well, who she thinks she is, or whatever it is. Like literally, if you have nothing to say, then please just don't say anything at all. But if you are going to say something, let it be constructive and a part of the movement. So I would say use your voice.
Yeah, it can be constructive. It doesn't necessarily have to be
silent.
Don't be silent. Yeah, I feel like Caymanians, we do that a lot. Yeah.
And I like what you just shared, because I had a number of those conversations where those of us who are trying to help somebody or to help ourselves, people, and it's not sufficient, adequate, or forgivable. Oh, but that happens everywhere. I don't live everywhere. I live here. So I do, and when I ask, is because I genuinely concerned and I want to know. But too many of us would say, how you doing? And before you could answer.
Yeah.
Well, mama say 2 splits and they go. Right?
Yeah.
So in terms of bullying, reminded of some video that we saw where presumably a fellow is exercising and lady's exercising. This guy comes up, looks at the man, saying, no, I can't take him. Sees the girl, and she's, easy prey, pulls her off, and he jumps on. The guy looks at him and takes him off. That's probably a teachable moment, all sorts of things, but use that as an example. We see somebody doing something to somebody else. What do we do? How do we respond? Do we ignore it? Do we engage? And if so, how? I mean, what do we do? Because we could make bad worse.
And that's always a tricky one, because I've had students ask me that as well. There's no one size fits all when it comes to bullying. Every circumstance is so different. And so I think one of the best things you can do if you're a bystander, if you see that you can intervene where you won't get hurt or make the matter worse, then you try to intervene. However, the next best thing is to seek help. So whether that's calling the police, or whether that's some law enforcement nearby, a security officer, or just somebody that has authority to help and intervene, that would be the next step.
And that's, to me, would be the thing. Ideally, we wouldn't have that in our society, but that authority from that adult, whether it's parent or teacher or coach, security, and then police.
Right.
If we don't have the skill sets, the training, I don't want to say the empathy, but that sensitivity, we coming in with that presence, that uniform, that position of authority, could even make it even worse, right? Because now, and I'm not saying that as much as it's bashing us who are in a position of authority, from that parent down,
right?
But the lack of sensitivity, we've seen it as an example countless times in Cayman, but globally. There is someone acting in a certain way because of a mental health issue, may or may not be exacerbated because of alcohol or some other drug. A policing authority comes in and responds, shoots, tasers, or whichever. Now, that don't make anything good.
Right.
So how do we, Ms. Donna, I mean, because you're like the sage in the setting.
Well, to be honest with you, I have two daughters who were bullied. My son was also bullied when he was younger, right here in Cayman. And it's been various levels of bullying, but I've always taught my children to just let it be water off your back. Like there's a reason why people bully. There's a reason why people speak to you with a certain tone. They may be having a bad day.
It's a projection.
It may just be in their DNA. It may be, because there are people that have that family trait of bullies.
Yeah.
Well,
we didn't have a name for it, long ago, but that's really, really what it is. But from a pageant perspective, I've been involved with Miss Universe Cayman Islands since 2015, and I've witnessed over the years different forms of bullying with contestants.
Wow.
And we have to speak to them, take them aside and speak to them. But typically, again, that comes from, a place of being hurt or, thinking that you're less than or just being threatened by, someone else that might be in the competition.
Is that a lack of confidence, self-esteem, a sense of who you are?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's a lack of maturity as well, because, it could be something as simple as, I may go and help Ileann fix her dress, and you see me helping Ileann fix her dress. You don't know why I'm helping her fix her dress. Maybe her dress is ripped or whatever, and you're going to go off about it because you say, "Oh, she's over there helping Ileann." Yeah. So, and I think that, like I said, that comes from a lack of maturity.
Oh, okay. And this is where I think these conversations and hopefully your schedule will allow, post decrowning. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. You'll come back on with others. We need to respect and reflect what is transpiring in this country right now. And too many times we're a little bit polite.
Right.
Those days are over. You can be direct, I think, and still be respectful.
Yeah.
All right. We got to wrap it up soon, but I want something I want to read. Can I read this? Well, I don't know. Can I?
It's your show.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
No, he meant like, can he read?
So the afternoon said, okay, so this will be Miss Universe Cayman is 2023 Ileann Powery. We, your family, in Grand Cayman and Cameron are so proud of you. Says you are a true ambassador for these beautiful islands. We thank you for all you have done during your reign and trust you have made a positive impact on the lives of some of the young people you have spoken to at the school, church, youth groups, youth summer camps, the prisons, and at other various functions. Thank you to the Cayman community for always making you feel special for whenever you went. We thank you, Lord, for your blessing and protections over you during this time. All the best to the new queen that will be crowned on Saturday, God's willing. That's from your family.
Thank you, family. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry, but honestly, I want to shout out my Powery family. Thank you all for holding me down. My immediate family, Ivana, my mom and my daddy, my brothers, like everybody that really held the fort. And my Powery family, as you know, is a huge family in West Bay. Your support has been crucial during this time, and I don't want to forget my BRAC side, those in the BRAC as well that held it down for me. I am so grateful, and words can't express the gratitude that I have. So I'm not going to cry, so I'm going to stop there. But praise be to God.
And this is where I think, and I genuinely want you to come back on with Miss Donna and others. This one says, proud of you, proud to be a part of it. This is where the individual pride, the community pride, the family pride, the nation pride comes in. And we need to build that. It's not about excluding others. We own our warts, but we also recognize our warriors.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm glad that Ileann has decided to continue her I wouldn't call it reign, but her passion for being involved in the community, because every young woman who, has to pass their crown on after that year has the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
But not many have, at least not from a community perspective. They may have like really great careers and, they're doing other things in the community, but we've seen very few go on and really do want to continue working in areas of community.
Timing.
So that's
timing.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
And I also want to thank you. I also want to continue helping in pageantry as well, because that's a new love of mine compared to when I first entered. And so I've already started pageant coaching. And so I do want to continue to help the Miss Universe Cayman Islands organization, because to me it's a bigger picture. I want Cayman to excel. It's not an individual thing. I want us to thrive and to survive in the world of pageantry. And so what I've learned in this year, I want to continue to pass that on. Like, the torch is supposed to be continued on. It doesn't stop with me. And so any way that I can help the next queen or any contestants moving forward, like, I'm so happy to do that. So I also want to remain with the organization in whatever capacity they feel that I am going to be valuable in. I would love to continue in that way too. So it doesn't just, like I said, there's no full stop. Right. It's a continuation.
It's an eternal flame.
And she mentioned coaching, and I think if I could just end by saying on my part that I see too many of our young women, they come in because they want to enter Miss Cayman, and they're not prepared.
Yeah.
It takes preparation. If you want to enter Miss Cayman, take a year or two to prepare yourself, whether it's mentally, physically, however, ward styling, whatever it is. Like, seek out the people that are in your community, the experts that can help you get there, so that when you enter, it's like game on.
Yeah.
Like I'm prepared. I'm ready for this, especially if you want to win.
Right.
You know, some people just want to do it just to, have something to do or to build their confidence or whatever. But for the women that want to enter pageants, whatever pageant it is, be prepared.
Yeah.
Because too many of our young women are not prepared. And I know Ileann had shared this with me one time, that she wished that, she was more prepared when she went to Miss Universe.
Mm-hmm.
You probably would have done, made a bigger mark, as they would say, right?
Yeah.
But because you want to go in, but you're not as prepared. And then there's a time in between the local pageant and the overseas pageant as well. But really and truly, I think it all boils down to that young woman being prepared before she even enters her national pageant.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, you're going to wrap it up, I know. But for me, I just felt like that. Internally, I felt ready in the sense that I knew I had the confidence. I knew I had the right mindset, the perspectives, how to speak, how to communicate. Like, I had a lot of things. I was ready in a lot of ways. But when it comes to the on-stage presence and knowing how to really exude a certain level of confidence that these international girls bring, I wasn't ready for that. And when I watch these young ladies who are preparing for this Saturday, they have a beautiful level of confidence that I didn't see in previous years or even in my year. And so I'm encouraged to see that. But there's so much more that Cayman can bring to the table, and we just aren't investing in that. And so, like I said, in my own experience, I knew I wasn't ready for the stage fully. But coming back from Miss Universe, I grew into a different version of Ileann. I don't know where it came from, but now I have this thing where, like, if I'm on stage, I'm ready to go. Versus last year as a contestant, I felt so unready. I felt lost. I felt unsure. I still went up there and probably didn't show that. But inside, I felt like I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And so I feel like that's such a key factor to be able to compete with girls from Venezuela, Colombia, who prepare all their life for that one night or this moment. So, yeah, I just want to add to what you said.
Thankfully, you come on. And I would welcome the opportunity, both of you, individual, but in particular collectively, to join us again, because what you're sharing isn't just about pageantry. It's about preparation for life. For that exam that we sit, we're not studying the night before, for that foolishness that the Football Association just do, where we bring a team over just to make a number, to play a game after 2 days of practice and expect to perform at level. We do that with our people, and we're throwing them in with people who have no love, respect, no appreciation for what we have, and we expect outcomes. End up in a prison with another $100 million construction or another $100 million court. It's our societies that are being impacted. It's our young men and women whose lives are being negatively destroyed. And we're pointing fingers without looking in the mirror and reflecting. Through you, Miss Ileann, I see not just confidence, I see passion. I see an impassioned plea for our people that need to wake up and realize that what it is that we're told, a rising tide floats all ships. So like you, that eternal flame must burn intensely, deeply, and it must bring us closer. I'm just annoyed at the ignorance and the insolence and arrogance that's permeating this society, and we love it. I get condemned for saying back us, for insisting that when you meet somebody and when you first see them, it's not good night or good day. That's only when you're leaving. It's hello, hi, how you doing, what's up? It's about saying Cayman as Cayman, and that is the passion that we bring. But until we have that pride and respect for us, anybody will trample you. Thank you both. You guys are amazing.
Thank you as well. Thank you, Cayman. I love you all, and thank you to my family.
All right. Well, cheering the next election.
We read it for you.
We read it for you. And that's the hope that we have. It's not a fait accompli. All right. Tomorrow we were supposed to be having a discussion with some young people. Hopefully that materializes. If not, we'll have some people that's still young at heart. I have to figure out what's going to happen, and I got a few hours to get it done. But thank you all. Thanks, Miss Susan.
Thank you.
Join Mr. Art tomorrow morning for the record, and God's willing, I'll be here for Talk Today after the midday.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is